Have you ever noticed that some of the most fluent, most expressive speakers of a foreign language are also people who seem to carry a certain depth, a certain history in their eyes? It leads to a controversial, almost counterintuitive idea. What if the people who are best at learning foreign languages are the ones who have been hurt the most? Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like a huge oversimplification, and in some ways, it is. We're not saying that emotional pain is a prerequisite for becoming a polyglot. But what if the psychological muscles you build while navigating emotional hardship, the resilience, the empathy, the unique way you learn to see the world, what if those become your superpowers in language acquisition? Why might this be the case? From a psychological perspective, there are several fascinating connections between our inner emotional worlds and our ability to connect with a new tongue. Let's break it down. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. When you've experienced deep emotional states yourself, you develop a more nuanced understanding of the emotional spectrum. You've had to become a student of unspoken cues, of the subtle shifts in tone and body language that betray what words often hide. This isn't just a social skill, it's a linguistic asset. Think about it. Language is so much more than just vocabulary and grammar. It's the rhythm, the intonation, the cultural subtext. It's the difference between saying, "I'm fine" with a smile, and "I'm fine" with a sigh that carries the weight of the world. A person with heightened empathy is more attuned to these subtleties. They don't just hear the words, they feel the meaning behind them. This ability to connect on an emotional level can make the language learning process more intuitive and meaningful. For example, imagine a young woman who grew up in a household where she constantly had to gauge her parents' moods to keep the peace. She learned to read the slightest frown, the almost imperceptible change in the rhythm of their breathing. Now, as she learns Japanese, she finds herself naturally picking up on the intricate system of honorifics and the subtle ways respect and emotion are conveyed without explicit words. Her past, which was a source of anxiety, has now given her an unusual sensitivity to the emotional and social tapestry woven into the Japanese language. She's not just learning a language, she's learning a new way to understand and connect with people, a skill she has been honing her entire life. This deep-seated drive to connect and be understood, often born from past feelings of disconnection, becomes a powerful motivator. As the linguist Frank Smith said, "One language sets you in a corridor for life. 2 languages open every door along the way." For someone who has felt trapped behind emotional walls, each new language is a new door, a new pathway to connection. Learning a new language is hard. It's a journey filled with frustration, plateaus, and countless moments where you feel foolish and incompetent. You'll make mistakes, you'll be misunderstood, and you'll want to give up. This is where resilience comes in. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and those who have weathered significant emotional storms often have this quality in abundance. When you've faced real hardship, the embarrassment of mispronouncing a word in a coffee shop pales in comparison. You've learned that setbacks are not the end of the road, they are part of the journey. This mindset is a game changer in language learning. While others might quit after a few frustrating weeks, the resilient learner sees it as just another challenge to be overcome. They view failures as learning opportunities rather than a reflection of their self-worth. Psychology talks about a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Navigating personal difficulties can often force you into developing this mindset out of necessity. You had to believe you could get through it, and you had to work at it every single day. Let's take the example of a man who, after a difficult divorce, decides to move to a new country and learn Spanish. In the beginning, it's incredibly isolating. He struggles to express his most basic needs, but every time he feels like giving up, he remembers the emotional resilience he built during his separation. He reminds himself that he has navigated far more painful and complex situations. He starts to see his language practice not as a chore, but as an act of rebuilding his life and his confidence. His past hardship becomes his anchor, reminding him that he is capable of surviving discomfort and emerging stronger. He knows that true growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone, but on the edge of his abilities. This is a lesson taught not in a classroom, but in the crucible of life. This is a more complex, but crucial point. When you go through something that deeply shakes your sense of who you are, it can be destabilizing. But it can also create a psychological space, an openness to trying on a new way of being. Learning a new language is, in many ways, like becoming a new person. You adopt new sounds, new gestures, and even new ways of thinking and expressing emotion. For someone whose original sense of self is associated with pain, stepping into a new linguistic identity can be incredibly liberating. It's a chance to be someone else for a while, someone more confident, more outgoing, or simply different. The psychologist Stephen Krashen developed the affective filter hypothesis, which suggests that negative emotions like anxiety and low self-esteem can create a mental block that prevents effective language acquisition. Paradoxically, while the source of emotional pain is negative, the process of learning a new language can offer a psychological escape. When you're fully immersed in conjugating a French verb or deciphering a German sentence, you are, for a moment, not dwelling on your past. Imagine a teenager who was severely bullied in school. He felt voiceless and invisible. In his English class, he felt judged and anxious. Then, he starts learning Korean online, drawn in by the music and culture. In this new linguistic world, no one knows his history. He can be the person he wants to be. Speaking Korean, even just to himself at first, feels like putting on a new suit of armor. It's a version of him that is not defined by the pain he experienced. This new identity empowers him, lowering his affective filter and allowing him to absorb the language with surprising speed. He's not just learning words, he's crafting a new self, one that is strong and articulate. In a very real sense, a new language can give a new soul to someone who felt theirs was broken. So, what does this all mean for you? It doesn't mean you need to seek out pain to learn a language. Absolutely not. But it does mean that the parts of you that you may consider your weaknesses, your sensitivity, the scars from your past, the resilience you built because you had no other choice, might actually be your greatest strengths. Your experiences have given you a unique lens through which to view the world. They may have gifted you with a deeper capacity for empathy, an unshakable resilience, and an openness to new ways of being. These are not just tools for survival, they are tools for connection, for growth, and for learning. The same waters that threaten to drown you may have carved out the channels that now allow a new language to flow in. Embracing a new language can be a profound act of self-reclamation. It's a way of taking the narrative of your life into your own hands and writing a new chapter in a new tongue. It's a testament to the fact that personal growth can emerge from hardship. As Carl Jung wisely said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Learning a new language can be a powerful choice to become someone more connected, more resilient, and more whole. So if you are on this journey, I want you to reframe how you see yourself. Don't see your sensitivity as a weakness. See it as your antenna for understanding. Don't see your past struggles as baggage. See them as the foundation of your resilience. Let every new word you learn be a testament to your strength. Do you resonate with this idea? Has your own life experience influenced your language learning journey? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And if you found this perspective helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more insights into the psychology of learning and growth. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep connecting. See you next time.